of our favorite comedians. And it's going to be part maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is the way we're going because I love him so much. But we're back for part 2, and to bring it in because he's back for another run. It's the Raconturista theme song of the day. Is that what it's called?
Raconturista. It's called Raconturista.
Okay, all right.
I wrote it just for the Raconturista podcast. Dave, Brian, and Dave gonna make you their slave. Dave and Brian, they ain't even trying. Music and booze, booze and music. We are whoring ourselves like some cheap painted floozies. Booze and music, music and booze. A little bit of funk. All these goddamn first world blues. Raconturista podcast. Raconturista podcast. Podcast. Yeah, Raconturista podcast.
Like I said, man, I'm a big fan of the falsetto, brah.
You know, I want to add a mea culpa after that last. You know, we did that episode on the movies. You know, and I made a wisecrack in that about in The Last Waltz, and I said, man, The Last Waltz is a movie so about music so good it makes even Neil Diamond and Joni Mitchell sound good. And so look, I got to say, I really was wrong about Joni Mitchell. I got into a Joni Mitchell rat hole this week.
Oh, really?
And yeah, man, I listened to this guy named Rick Beato, and he does.
Oh,
a song.
Yeah.
He did a Joni Mitchell song, and I'm like, what was I thinking?
Oh, yeah.
And I just started listening to Joni Mitchell, and I'm like, you know, so that kind of informed this. I decided to go for the Laurel Canyon sound.
There you go.
Laurel Canyon sound, and
well, you know, Joni, I mean, you know, she has just binders, thick binders of all these tunings that she just does on everything. I mean, as far as an artist goes, I mean, it's a crazy. She has all these tunings and knows all the chords for all that stuff. It's weird.
Yeah, I just never.
But you're still right about Neil Diamond, though.
Well, you know, I could be wrong about that too. I thought he was pretty You know, he wrote a lot of great songs.
He did.
He wrote like "I'm a Believer" for the Monkees.
Yeah, I mean, I like him fine. I mean, you know, Levon had a bug up his ass about that because Robbie Robertson was producing Neil Diamond's album at that time, and that's the only reason he was brought on to there.
He is an outlier.
Yeah, so that's why Levon was so pissed off about it. He was like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Just because you're producing his album doesn't mean he has to be here at our last waltz." So let's go to the people that we absolutely appreciate. So that was a big reason for that.
Well,
that was a big one there. And I'm not a Neil Diamond basher. I'm just not a Neil Diamond fan though either.
He was good in that performance, but you know, the more I hear about the whole Robbie versus Levon thing, I kind of, you know, I tend to want to come down on Levon's.
I do too,
side,
but it's hard to come down on the side of a heroin addict.
Why?
Because they're fucking around. I mean, the bottom line is, I wanted to come down on Levon's side, right? And I read Levon's book, but then when he's talking about how much heroin he's doing, and Robbie's not doing heroin. right? And Robbie's trying to keep this kind of going together. It's sort of like Mick Jagger keeping a lot of stuff going together,
True.
There. And so if you read Levon's book, he's real bitter, real angry, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. But I read Robbie's book, and by the way, Robbie Robertson's autobiography is fucking fantastic. You talk about a guy at the right place at the right time. It is a great read. I went into it not liking Robbie Robertson. I read it. I loved it. But he makes a very valid point about what he tried to do to help with some of the stuff. And these guys, they were shooting up. They didn't give a shit. They were more like skin popping is what they weren't like shooting directly in the veins. They were like skin popping is what they're doing, along with drinking. But at the end of the day, it was like Robertson was trying to kind of like help out and do some stuff, and they were just,
Well,
So, I'm very much like, if you're sitting there and
I hear you.
if you're doing heroin and you're mad years later about what went down, it's like, well, you were doing heroin, which means you probably weren't very present.
Well, I mean, that's what that's kind of that was a big beef between Keith and Mick too. Was that Mick took charge of the Rolling Stones?
He had to.
Yeah, he had to.
He had
so
to.
I get that. Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
See,
so
there you go.
So it's one of these deals where I'm like, I get what they're saying, and I'm like you. I wanna kind of go, hey guys, because I think Levon Helms is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. But what his beef was with all that stuff, it's just one of these things like, if you're doing heroin, you don't have your beef is hard to, because at the end of the day, you only had one thing you cared about. That was heroin, so.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I don't want to, I don't want to I didn't want to say that Levon was wrong just because he was doing heroin, but that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
You got a whole nother thing going. I totally agree with it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, when you got into your heroin.
Oh, you remember
habit,
you had to carry the wrong country so
remember?
long during my Smack.
Remember, it was just 3 episodes back.
As we called it SmackDown. You called it SmackDown. I thought you were talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I didn't know it was that obvious that I was on Smack.
And it was like me having to put that Norvalol in your nose.
Yeah.
Remember that?
When you had to hit me in the chest a couple times with that shit.
Oh, or shoot you with adrenaline in the chest.
Remember that shit.
Remember we were driving through, for some reason we wound up in a convertible in Los Angeles, and you were in the passenger seat, and I was driving you to my friend's house, and I crashed in his yard, and we went in, and he shot you with a thing in the heart. Yeah,
then we watched it in a movie later on, and we were both so fucking mad that Tarantino just ripped us off.
Yeah, ripped us off.
Fucking ripped us off.
Bullshit.
Man.
I mean, I'm kind of glad he didn't get a film of us doing the dancing scene in the diner, but
I don't know.
But you and I still. This was our kind of our thing.
I look pretty. I look pretty good in my clam diggers. I think I did look pretty good in my clam diggers.
I did too. That's why I'm glad there's not a movie of it.
I remember that Smack episode. I kept nodding out.
Yeah.
You're like, God damn it, Brian.
I'm like, I'm trying to get sponsors here.
I'm trying to get sponsors. You're like nodding out over there. You finally just reach over and boom, hit me in the chest. Like, that's right.
It got you a total blood transfusion.
Oh, speaking of sponsors, I have got a good sponsor for you.
Oh, good.
I've got a great sponsor for you.
Awesome.
And you made a comment earlier, and you'll get what I'm talking about here. Here's a new sponsor.
Oh, you want me to read it? Okay.
Yeah. And you can read it again as an announcer.
Fellas, are you tired of your taint all rough for your lady? Or more importantly, is your lady all tired of the rough taint? Well, with Ronco Taint Steamer, that chafe is in the past. That's right, the Ronco Taint Steamer is just what you or your lady ordered. And just like her vagina steamer, this one is a game changer. Say goodbye to a taint that could strip varnish off a table, a taint you could light a match on, ouch! A taint that a safe cracker runs the tips of his fingers on before attempting to crack that safe. You know what that means. And say hello to a friction-free walk, no more rubbing, no inner thigh burn, and a big thank you from your lady. Thanks, honey. Just a few minutes a week squatting over the Ronco Taint Steamer, and your world will be headed down one smooth road. So like the song says, if you want your taint as smooth as your wiener, just squat right over the Ronco Taint Steamer. Bronco taint steamer, the official taint steamer of the NFL.
So there's your callback.
I knew it.
Oh yeah.
I knew it. Very good.
I'm mining that taint mine to the bitter
I'm
end.
good. I'm glad.
Bitter end.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I got a call back.
Okay. You do? All right.
Man, welcome our new sponsor, Jasper Lee's Cali Rid.
Cali Rid? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hey, man.
Oh my God.
Hey, man, if you've been living in Austin for a while, you've seen the big changes that have pretty much ruined our once fun, cool, laid-back town. So-called social experts would have you believe there's a complex array of forces that have led to this abysmal state. Bullshit! We all agree there's one reason for the skyrocketing housing costs, gridlock traffic, exploding homelessness, increased crime, and astronomical pretentiousness that have eroded our way of life. The reason? Californians, of course. Also known as human locusts, douchebags, descendants of the wasteland. Tough shit, Elliot. Are you sick of these vapid West Coast pests? Hell yes, you are. Me too. That's why your good old homeschool bathtub chemist, Jasper Lee, has invented the world's first aerosol spray to rid us of these noxious vermin. My special blend of petrochemicals and various toxic ingredients will have these self-important modern-day carpetbaggers scurrying back to the hellhole they ruined in no time. Just one blast of my new Cali Rid and these degenerate Silicon Valley refugees and B-grade social media starlets will be packing their Range Rovers and heading for home. I feel so strongly about this product that I'm offering at the special low price of $6.66 per can. One blast in the pie hole is all it takes. So do yourself and our once great city a favor and let's get this extermination going. One free Fuck You Cali shirt to everyone who sends video proof of a Golden State asshole and a U-Haul heading west. Bye-bye, Biff and Karen. See you in hell. Hell A, that is. Order yours today.
Is now not a good time to say that I talked to Elon Musk about sponsoring us?
He's very cool. He will love it.
You know, I hate to bash on that sort of shit, but I don't really hate to bash on it. But it's true. It's true. You know, it is like a bunch of locusts coming in here. We're getting the double dose. Here's what we're getting. We're getting the techies that are coming in, but then we're also getting the right-wingers that are moving out of California because they hate what the libtards are doing. So, what just jumped in my pool?
Wow.
Something just jumped in there.
Let me go check.
I don't know. I think it was a frog. We're doing our podcast right next to a pool. We just saw a snake a minute ago. Now we see a frog.
Wait a minute, Brian. Let's switch over to Sir David Attenborough's Wild Earth. I'm sitting here by a pool in a suburban part of some southwest Texas town, and all of a sudden a scaly reptile drops by my side. Everybody do a shot and I'll be back later. I love David Attenborough.
I'm waiting for the honey badger to come up and like, that honey badger.
It's a honey badger.
Oh, that's right, bitch. That's the way I fucking eat it.
I'm a knight. Here's out to Sir David Attenborough. You know who he is?
Yeah.
We got those.
Yeah. All the planet, Nat Geo planet stuff.
I want to have a drinking game where, because for some reason he winds up laying on the ground a lot.
Huh?
Yeah, if you watch, what is it, Earth, Wild Earth,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Earth something, just Earth maybe, I don't know. And I remember watching it while I was on nitrous oxide getting a wisdom tooth pulled, and he's laying on the ground next to these ants. These ants are working in conglomeration within a vast array of social forces. And then the next scene, he's like laying on next to a seal, and I'm like,
Really?
what? Do they just wheel him out? Like,
I don't know.
like,
Was he like Ozzy just snorting the ants up?
oh man.
Oh, speaking of shitty, I wasn't speaking of it. But I am
Well,
now.
now that you are.
I watched this movie called The Dirt, and it was a movie about Motley Crue, but it was a made-for-TV movie about Motley Crue. Oh my God, it is so
Star
bad.
Zac Efron as Tommy Jones.
Actually, Machine Gun Kelly was in it. He was some weird kind of like shitty band rapper guy, but it is so bad it's good.
Yeah.
So bad it's
Right.
good. Because Donna was looking at me, she goes, "Are you really watching this?" And I'm like, "Hell
The
yeah.
Dirt.
Hell yeah. It is so awful. It is so bad. Oh, just horrible bad. Because I never gave a fuck about Motley Crue. That wasn't one of my gigs. So I wasn't watching like I hate Motley Crue. I was just watching going, this is terrible. Because those guys were like, yeah, they were pretty horrendous, debauchery going on with them.
Hey, come on, man. If you were, let's be honest, all right? Be honest. If you were 22, 23, and you were in a...
Oh, you were Tommy Lee in Motley Crue, 22, like say, on the strip.
It's Tommy Lee. It's not Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, God.
Yeah. And
Well, that changes everything. I thought Tommy Lee Jones was the lead singer. Fuck this. Fuck those guys.
I couldn't understand how he could be the drummer and do Men in Black at the same time.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how he
And just
did
like
that.
flash everybody at the end, and they forgot they paid, and they just like, well, now you got to pay your ticket. Well, didn't we? Well, okay. It's fucking brilliant.
Tommy Lee Jones as Tommy Lee. I think I'm going to play some drums now. I think I will.
Tommy Lee Jones as the. Hey,
Tommy Lee Jones without the Jones.
Yeah, I mean, but let's face it.
Oh, no, I don't look at him. It's like, why would they do
If
that?
I was if I had that now,
Oh yeah.
I'd be
no,
dead
I
in
don't.
6
I don't.
weeks.
I don't look at anything like there. I'm just like, it was such a bad. This movie was so horrible.
Right.
So horrible. I'm like, how do they? I mean, why did they even say yes to this? Or somebody said yes to it because it was based on Nikki Sixx's book. So Nikki had something to do with it, and they say that Nikki Sixx is one of the worst bass players you could ever imagine. He is apparently a terrible bass player.
Yeah.
But yet he willed this band into existence and huge. They were huge, man. I guarantee you, man. Go to a strip joint, they're making a lot of money off of girls.
Yeah.
Big time money off of that. All right, we are here, Dave.
Oh,
if you wanna
wow.
participate
Oh God,
in.
serious.
We're talking about comedians. That's what we're talking about comedians. Yes, it is serious to me. Yeah. You
Let me just throw one out. I'll just throw one out.
Throw one out.
I'll throw one out.
We're talking about our favorite comics, and this is part 2, but it could be we're probably going to have part 7, 8, 9, 10, infinity plus 1.
Okay. Jonathan Winters. Going old school.
Man.
Incredible, improvisational. He broke the mold and paved the way for a different style. You couldn't look at the guy without laughing. Robin Williams, the next generation. If you want to know who Jonathan Winters was, Jonathan Winters would go on like the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And the guy, I think it was before Johnny Carson. But anyway,
Jack Parr.
it might have been Jack. It was Jack.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did Jack Parr and Carson, yeah, both.
And like this guy just gave him like a stick
Mm-hmm.
and said, "Here, just go to town."
Yeah.
And he does 5 minutes of just brilliant improv, and he's just everything from just with a stick as a prop.
Oh, yeah.
Genius.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, and he was, like you said, if anybody's going, who was he? If you know who Robin Williams was, he was that guy. Now, he got with him later on Mork and Mindy,
Right.
But, and talk about a tortured artist, because he was in an insane asylum like twice.
Wow.
At least twice. Yeah. No, he had a lot of severe depression, severe anxieties.
He got no respect. I'm sure he got no respect.
Yeah. So I don't think he ever tried to kill himself or anything, but he had some real bad times. And so his wife, I think, stayed with him the whole time. but he went into some mental institutions a couple of times. Right as his career was starting to go off, and he would lose it and go in there. I know at least twice, and became a big painter when he was in the institute. He's a really good painter. He has had great work, and but no, the guy is just absolutely brilliant. You know, have you ever seen the thing of where Robin Williams goes over to his house?
No.
Oh my God, it's on YouTube. You got to watch it.
I should.
Those two going off on improv is amazing, because you would never think Robin Williams could be one-upped on improv. Oh my God. You watch Robin Williams start something, and then Jonathan Winter goes and takes it off to another level. And Williams is just back just laughing. He can't even hang with him because the guy's so good. That is a hell of a choice, man.
Well, I mean, I have to say, you know, when it comes to the pains and travails of being a tortured genius artist, I'm right there with you, Jonathan. I know how you feel.
I know.
Go ahead. Just fucking say a comic. Leave me alone.
Okay, my next favorite comic. Let me get my list here. Dave Kendall. So
Who's that guy?
So I got lucky one time and met this guy at one of these shows in Austin, and all I can tell you is that just kidding. We've been in these. We talked about this before, because the first time I saw you, I was like going, man, I fucking love that guy, because you were telling the weirdest shit, and everybody else was telling these like bullshit stories about. I mean, nothing against it, but it was a lot of menstruation stories and shit like that, and and stuff, and like my boyfriend beats me
that's
up.
What's
and,
his name?
Yeah, I know. My boyfriend beats me up and all this kind of crap, and everything is like, fuck me, man. And then you came up there and told these stories, and I was like going, motherfucker. You were cracking me up. Plus, you're the only motherfucker that showed up with beer.
Where did we first meet? Was it the Scoot? I thought it was the Scoot.
Yeah, I think we met at Scoot, because we were both on that show at Scoot. And so we talked a little bit, but then I think what it was is that out there at
Weberville?
Yeah, at Weberville.
John.
John's. Then I think after the Scoot thing, I came up and you were going up there, and I was too. And like you were the only guy, like say, you're the only guy with beer. And me and you were only guys with beers. Everybody else didn't have beers. And so so I was like, I'm hanging out with this guy.
Exactly.
And I remember we hung out. We helped somebody, like their car was stuck or something. We had to help them out of a ditch or some shit like that.
Right.
But after that, we kind of talked, and we were like, yeah, man, let's kind of get together. So we got together, started hanging out a little bit after that. That's where it was. But Scoot was the first time. Yeah.
But I mean, if you don't, I didn't mean to get sidetracked. But I mean, if you want to go ahead with how brilliant, you find me, I don't mind.
Oh yeah, I'll keep going there. Yeah. Full disclosure, David paid me $30 to do this.
See, that's bullshit. See, this is fucking bullshit. This is once again a guy.
You're right. I exaggerated. It was only $20.
Guy clipping himself at the knees.
Yeah,
It could have been a hero, Brian. Could have been a hero.
Okay, that will bring me into something else, though. All right, performances, because you from improv and mine from stand-up understand. We're talking about comedians, about how important it is to be up on the stage and to perform, and how there's a lot of nights it doesn't work, but on nights that it works, that it is just amazingly cool that a lot of people go, I can imagine what it's like. No, you can't. No, you can't.
You really can't.
Until you get there some nights. And I mean, there's plenty of nights that it sucks and it's like, okay, whatever. But when it nails it and you're on and it's working, that is just that is better than that's better than that smack that you hit me in the chest with 3 episodes back.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Me up from.
Oh, it's better than any of that.
Oh, yeah. No, but I mean, it is really, you know, 'cause-
That's what
and-
our
and I can still remember, and you do too, all these great performances I've seen throughout my life.
Right.
Of either ones where I was involved with it, which
Yeah.
wasn't that variety, but a lot of times just being there and watching it and getting to see something that I just was like, what the
and you know
fuck?
they were like totally engaged.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, the first time I did stand up a few times. No, I don't have the experience you do with stand up, but I did like 20 years ago or something. I took a stand up comedy class here in town from a guy. I think his name
Sam
is
Cox.
Yeah,
Oh, I remember that piece of shit.
yeah,
Yeah, I know that guy.
and
Sam Cox won't be our sponsor, by the way.
is he still? I wonder if he's still alive.
Probably.
And I have a different opinion, but I can, when I took his class,
Yeah.
and it was at the Cap City Comedy
Yeah,
Club,
yeah.
and then after he was like, at some point, I'll deem you worthy to go up.
That was Sam.
Oh yeah,
that
Oh
was
yeah,
Sam.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. No, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, right, exactly.
I put you on one of my showcases.
Yeah. And I mean, but so and like after 2 classes, I did a thing and he wrote back, "You're ready."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
2 or 3 classes,
That's
maybe
awesome.
3. That was wasn't all the way through.
Yeah.
And
Had you paid yet or not?
well, I paid extra.
Sam,
Oh, I paid
Sam,
all right.
You're ready if you'll pay this. If you'll pay
Oh, I
the-
paid.
You're ready if you'll pay the balance of this class.
Man, you're just cynical because you didn't get to go on stage. That's all. You're just pissed that
No,
you never.
I took a class with him one time, and I walked out going, "What the fuck is this guy's shit?"
And you never got to play the Cap City Comedy Club, so.
Yeah, I have on my own.
Oh,
I didn't pay anything to get up there.
sweet. Good one. No, really, way to set this record straight. I appreciate this.
But go into your story.
No, I guess it's.
No, I remember Sam. I remember that guy. And a lot of my friends went through it, and like Rob Hawkins, one of the greatest comics around, he started off with Sam. Absolutely.
I mean, I didn't have a problem with him. I mean, I
Yeah.
realized he was.
Yeah. He was like, but what drive me crazy? He was like, you need to laugh every 20 seconds. What the fuck
Right.
is this?
No.
It's like, he was not just telling stories. It was like, boom, da-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom.
So you would go into class and you'd have a
Yeah,
set and
yeah.
you'd do it and you give him a copy and you'd have a copy and he'd make notes on it.
Mm-hmm,
And I think generally he was right.
Yeah.
About my the stuff I did.
Yeah.
And so I got to go. I got to go up on the Monday night, and his thing was. Like there were like 25 or 30 or
Yeah,
something.
something crazy
And he
about
wouldn't
it.
tell you what order you were in, so you couldn't even know. And I was like, and I kind,
And by the way, you're doing like, what, 3 minutes
Yeah.
maybe? And do you remember when you did the first 3 minutes, how much you rehearsed that 3 minutes? Like now if somebody said, you have 3 minutes, I'm like, 3 minutes, fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get in trouble in 3 minutes. That's about it. But at that time you rehearsed over
Right.
like, okay. I remember that. Yeah.
And I was terrified. I was
Yeah.
really terrified
Yeah.
of that. One of the most terrifying moments. Just sitting there waiting.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but finally, he called my name, and I walk up, and I couldn't even feel my body. I was so scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then once I got my hand on a microphone,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It was something about it's like Thor, son of Odin's son, Mjolnir is yours.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, you're right. Like, it's nerve-wracking, and you almost want to go, should I just leave? Should I just leave? I don't
Yeah.
know. And then they say your name, like, oh, God. And you go up there, and then once you do it, it's like, even if it's kind of crappy, you're still just like, I'm on stage, man. It's like fucking awesome, man. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun,
Yeah.
And
No,
I can tell you, there was a place, you're talking about Sam, but when I lived in Dallas, we did stand up at a place called the Backdoor Comedy Club. And Jan and Linda ran this thing. And I can tell you this much, there was nights there that the comedy at that thing was as good as anything else you ever saw around.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just you've seen it with improv. You've seen it with like different places where stuff happened where you're just like, holy shit, I can't believe that this is going on here. It's awesome. Ow! So, I because there was nights there, and there was a lot of great comics there too. And can I tell you a couple stories about some
What
of these
the
comics?
fuck? I'm all ears, baby.
Okay. There was this comic there, and we're talking about Richard Pryor and Bill Hicks and all this beforehand. There was a comedian, and he still is around. He wrote for King of the Hill and stuff. His name is J.B. Cook. And I will tell you this much. J.B. Cook on a night was as fucking good as any comic I've ever seen in my whole life. But JB, you talking about somebody who didn't give a shit? I gave a shit, right? I was always like, okay, let me see if I can work this. I wasn't edgy like that. I gave a shit. JB did not give a shit. There was one night, and I can remember this. There was these lesbians were in the audience, right? And they're up there, and JB starts going to this deal and starts calling them out as lesbians, right? Pissing them off, right? They're getting fucking mad at him. To the point he even goes, what is it with you being lesbians? What do you like? Do you get born? Do you come out and kind of go, hey? Ooh, I like that. did that. And they were like, fuck you. I mean, they're down there like, fuck off. And they're screaming at him and stuff and everything. So JB goes through and does a show. He winds up winning them back. At the very end, he goes, yeah, I was totally wrong. Women should be, guys should look at women and just put them up on an altar. And he had like the little stool there, and he puts it up and goes, guys should look up at the women and look at them and just adore them. And these lesbians were going, yeah, that's what you fucking should do. Yeah. He goes, and every guy should look up at the women when they set them up there and get up there and get right up there and then put a fucking noose around their fucking neck. And he kicked the fucking stool out. And he goes, and let that fucking body spin around and charge kids five cents to take a ride on the dead bitch. And starts going this shit. And these women were like, we fucking hate you. I mean, he was amazing. I mean, he went from making them pissed to winning them over to pissing them off again. To watch this in one 9-minute set was just one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen in a really fucked up way. But it was crazy because you saw that live shit, man. It was nuts.
Wow.
You know?
That's nuts.
Oh, yeah. We did a deal one time up in Denton, Texas, at the University of North Texas.
We love you, Denton.
Yeah, we're up there, and it was a fraternity gig, which usually it's good money, but fraternity guys are the ones usually yelling out, right? And this gig, the biggest heckler was this girl that kept yelling out during everybody's set doing stuff. And it's funny when JB gets up there, the girl yells out at him. And he goes, and he stops. He goes, hey, man. He goes, I realized when I was at the back, I couldn't really see what was going on out here. He goes, but now that I stand here and I look out there, it's like I didn't realize how gorgeous you were. And you saw the girl that had been heckling, like she's got her attention. So she was like, kind of like, yeah, like this bit. He goes, I just didn't see, about how gorgeous. I mean, I didn't realize just how lovely you look. And she's like, doing like this, bro. He goes, matter of fact, you're so pretty, you don't need to be sitting down. You need to be standing up and coming up here on the stage. And the girl goes, so come on up. And the girl goes, like, and she starts to get up. And JB goes, hey, not you ugly bitch. I'm talking about the girl behind you.
Oh, wow. That's gotta hurt.
And the whole place just fell apart.
That's gotta hurt.
Just fell apart, man. I mean, it was awesome, man. But that was fun at that Backdoor Comedy Club because you go up and there was nights at guys that really weren't ever that good. They got on a roll that night. And they got on a roll and they just went with it. And it was just magical to watch somebody you've seen kind of dying before, all of a sudden that night just get on a roll and kill something. Yeah. You know, you've seen that shit.
Yeah, like in improv, you call it catching lightning in a bottle, or like magic or something.
Is that what you call it? Okay.
Yeah, but a little different for improv. But
same thing though. When something happens, it just nails it.
I mean, yeah.
If you talk about the time that you played Lemmy, doing some, you did a Lemmy thing where it was just a wild time, just out there playing bass.
Just being Lemmy.
Yeah.
Just in like being Lemmy for a while. Well, that's the greatest. I mean, I would be Lemmy every day if I could.
Well, if you want to be the real Lemmy,
I mean, the guy made it to what, like 70 years old?
doing meth
Meth every day.
every day.
Eating. Supposedly his diet was cheese, sausage, and like Jack Daniels, and meth.
Dave Grohl said the first time he met him, he just like looked at me and goes, "Hey, so you want to do some meth?" And Dave was like, No, that's okay." It's like, that's all right. But he was just like handing out meth like some people go, "Hey, want some Cheez-Its?" Just like laid it out there, man. Oh, just awesome, man.
Yeah. Well,
Were you ever into his first band, Hawkwind? I never was.
yeah. We've talked about them.
Okay, we have. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not really into them, but I kind of know who they were after the fact.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah.
proto. They were kind of interesting.
I haven't listened.
They were sort of progressive.
I haven't listened to their stuff. I don't know.
Prog rock.
I'll listen to it.
Well, they were wild. They had wild shows, man. They were crazy.
Man. Okay, now into the comic world, because I want to talk about something here. I want to talk about another performance I saw, and I've told you about this, but I want to tell it back again. One of the wildest performances I ever saw while I was in L.A., and I went up to go do stand-up at a show in Los Feliz. Bagadudo. It is a Bagadudo. There you go. And at some Mexican food place, and I remember I come in there, and this was when the show Friends was just kind of starting out. And I remember seeing a bunch of people from the show Friends were in there. I'm like, what are they doing in here? And so we go up, we're doing stand-up, and then all of a sudden these two guys come up playing acoustic guitars. And they do this crazy show. They go through it, and the show, and I can't even give it justice, they go into it. At one point, Spider-Man shows up and comes down from the fucking ceiling. Then a Bill Clinton comes out with security guards, is in there, and then Spider-Man comes back and beats up Bill Clinton. And one of the guys in the band quit at one point and came back at the end of the show, and they finished it all up. And I watched this, and I was going, I don't even know how to describe this to anybody. I go, what I just saw was like probably one of the most amazing performances I've ever seen, and it was Tenacious D. And it was just wild. And I mean, just to be a part, to get there and have that opportunity to see something live and be part of that, it's just amazing. It's just such a fucking fun thing, man.
Yeah,
You
I can
know?
imagine.
You know?
Yeah.
Now that one blew my mind. And I like I said, and I liked a lot of that stuff. I didn't think I was ever gonna think about who Tenacious D was. I mean, I didn't think that'd become a big deal. I've seen plenty of people I thought were great. I've seen plenty of bands I thought were going to be great, and they probably broke up 5 minutes after I saw them. But
I didn't know about Tenacious D till it was like 20 years ago. I was in Guatemala at some bar
really?
owned by these American guys.
Yeah.
It's called Mono Loco, like the Crazy Monkey.
yeah,
And now I would find that annoying now, but actually in the day I liked it. And I became friends with the owners. They were from Virginia, these young guys from Virginia, and went over to their house, and like they said something about Tenacious D, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. And they put in a tape, and that's the first time I saw Tenacious D, and it was, I thought it was hilarious.
oh yeah,
I thought it was great. Actually.
oh yeah. No,
I mean, just the self. I wrote a song about him. A self-referential kind of,
it's
I mean, the way they like the whole, that Jack Black was sort of, his whole ethos is like from like the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin.
Oh,
really,
yeah.
the whole thing is like ding diddle ding.
Oh,
We
yeah.
are to come from the land of the ice and snow. And then about how great they are, and then the reality is that it's
Oh, yeah.
Tenacious D. Love them.
no, man.
Love them.
That what's funny? Right after that show, I saw him like the next 2 days later at Ralph's, and going up the escalator with our groceries, and he was just the nicest shit guy. It was like
Yeah.
it was like really cool. I go, hey man, I got Saturday night. He goes, and so we started talking, hanging out, and he was fucking just a great person. I mean, it wasn't like jaded, weird, or anything. He was tons cool. All right, so I had to get that rolling along. Yours now, my friend.
Oh, let's talk about
Whatever.
Steve Martin.
Oh, that's one of my, I don't know if you saw my deal here. I have like Game Changers, edgy, blah, blah, blah. But Steve Martin, he was a game changer.
The biggest, most famous comic of all time, probably. Plus, he's practically a Renaissance man to boot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he totally unique style of comedy. Became famous for like just, there's a guy that totally honed that act until it was just a completely unique sort of.
Have you read his book?
No, but that's on my list.
It's, he's written a bunch of other books, right? Stories.
Right, but no, he's got
But his stand-up book is really, really interesting of how he went along through, playing banjo and doing stuff at Disney World and, and then deciding how he's going to do a career, and all this. I mean, it's amazing.
I mean, the thing he said that, he was the kind of a surrealistic type of a comic. I mean, the thing about he was all over the place, man. He had this kind of weird surrealistic style, that non sequiturs, just going from, like these kind of weird non sequiturs that he would go from one grandpa's. I can't think of what that was, but anyway. But then he would sometimes like touch on something that was like really kind of realistic. Like,
yeah.
And the thing he talked about the banjo, and he said, I have a feeling that like if Richard Nixon could have played the banjo, he'd probably could have stayed the president. Because you get off the jet and you say, I'll talk about Watergate in a minute, but first a little Foggy Mountain Breakdown. So, I mean, I think about him like, kind of laying it on the line like, if you got a sense of humor, you can sort of get away with shit.
Yeah. I mean, he because, he played with, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and, was it William McEwen is the banjo player in the Nitty Gritty Dirt?
Yeah, the McEwens.
McEwens, yeah.
Not Rod, but.
Yeah, but he was with them. But it's amazing because, he went from being, a comedian to being like a goddamn rock and roll star. I mean, when he had, King Tut and all that, I mean, he would sell out, the same places rock and roll people were selling out arenas for his stuff. I mean, but he never, it's kind of weird, but he never was a sellout like that. He never sold out. He just quit one. He was like, I've done everything I can do, and he quit.
He quit on top.
Yeah, he just
went
quit.
Out on top.
And started doing movies and and stuff and painting, and then he's an incredible collector of artwork. You know.
Yeah, great physical comedian. But to me, totally unique kind of. I mean, not edgy in a way, not really socially relevant, not really tapping into anything that was timely or.
No, he just did his own. I don't know what it was. It was his own gig. A guy told me that he saw him one time. He was opening for, I want to say the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, but I don't think that's right. It's almost like he was opening for some other band here in Austin. And he said, he came out and he said at that time nobody knew who Steve Martin was, really. And he goes, this guy comes out, and he said he just starts walking out and looking at the audience. He said he just comes up. First of all, he comes out in a white suit, right? White suit. Yeah. And he goes, and that immediately made us go, this dude ain't us. We're all hippies. And so this guy is anti-establishment. He's the establishment. We don't like him. And he comes up and starts looking out and doesn't say shit. Just looking out, and people are getting kind of annoyed and stuff. And then he finally launches into his comedy. And he goes, my God, that guy had the place in stitches. He goes, it was amazing because we didn't know who the guy was, or anything at all. It's not we have the same preconceived notion of who he was. And they go, he He goes, and we were all hippies, and when he came out at first, we're like, fuck you, the man, fuck you, you know, and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
and by the end of it, they're all like, we love you, we love you.
Well, he had that all planned out, didn't he?
Oh, man.
I mean, I'm sure he knew all that. You know what I mean?
He just stuck to his guns, you know?
Yeah.
He just stuck to his guns. He was like, this is what I'm doing. You going to go take a break?
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right, cool.
Well, excuse.
That was perfect timing.
Grandpa bought a rubber.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's it. All right, so Dave's taking a break, and he's kind of helping to water my lawn here, and
You could say curing cancer or something, but
oh, okay, yeah, he's curing my lawn of cancer, and so because apparently Dave can't handle his liquor, his bladder's had her, so but we were talking about Steve Martin. Let me recap. Let me recap in an NPR voice. Dave had recently brought up Steve Martin, which was a very good comic, and oh, here comes Dave back. Okay, now, so here we go.
WWOD, Guardians of the Groove.
There we go. Tune in, tune out, enjoy.
Yeah, oh, you and Timothy Leary,
Yeah.
2 peas in a pod right there.
You know, Donna actually hung out with him one time.
Timothy Leary?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, yeah. It was in Dallas for something, and I don't know what she did exactly.
For that assassination?
She didn't drop any acid with him, but she said she did hang out with Timothy Leary one time. So
Wow, Timothy Leary.
yeah. Okay.
Thanks for covering. Yeah.
No, it was hard. It was hard. Okay. I'm
She
gonna
said.
bring up one.
That's what she said.
One for you, and I think you'll appreciate it. Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, of course.
What?
Yeah, Norm.
What a fucking freak.
Yeah, I didn't know he was that great till
Yeah.
recently.
He's a fucking freak.
Mm.
You know, I love that guy. Back when I first saw him, I saw him on some sort of young comic special, and I don't remember the whole bit, and I will not do it justice, but he did something about it. He goes, yeah, I got these wiener dogs, and they tell me, like, you want to keep them fed because if you die, wiener dogs going to come up and eat you. I don't know how wiener dogs going to eat you. I mean, I guess if you die, you fell on your side, and they come up and start picking at your veins. I mean, he starts going this weird shit. It's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But I mean, that guy is just absolutely, to me, brilliant. I wouldn't want to be him. I wouldn't want to be his brain, for sure. You ever see him talk about the world's greatest? He goes, you ever pull a practical joke on somebody where you dress up like the devil and tell him, like, hey, Bill, go kill people for me, the devil. He goes, and then Bill goes back and goes, I killed all these people. Oh, hey, Bill. Hey, my mask up. Hey, it's me, Norm. It was all a joke. It was all a joke. You weren't supposed to kill anybody.
Wow, I have to say, Brian, I'm impressed with your impersonation. That's really good Norm Macdonald impersonation. Really good.
Man, I saw him one time at the Improv in L.A., and he got up there and he started doing some bit about, and he goes, yeah, they're gay, And also there's a bunch of gay guys, and they decided to go, boo. He goes, what? Oh, because I didn't like the way I talked about being gay. He goes, I don't know why I even said that. He goes, I don't know anything about being gay. What the fuck am I talking about? He goes, I don't know. Maybe it's like pizza. Like, I don't really think I'm gay, but, like pizza. You eat like, you've never eaten pizza before, and you take a bite of pizza. You're like, that's a good bite of pizza. Maybe that's what it is with gay. Maybe I need to try out being gay for a while. So it's going this whole bit. And these guys were booing him at the end. They were like, yeah. I mean, it was just like, the guy just goes off on some weird tangent. Is, off somewhere else, man.
Yeah, he's got that. I mean, he's one of those. I think about, he's in that category with Jonathan Winters in that.
Oh, yeah.
What I said about Jonathan Winters was that he just looks funny. I mean, like almost, Norm Macdonald could almost say anything and be funny.
Well, yeah,
just because he just looks.
He does.
He looks he looks funny. I mean, he's got a little bit
that
of a
grin or something.
yeah. I mean, like a lot of the great comedians have, that kind of little advantage of they just,
man.
they have a sort of look about them. I mean,
I'll tell you, there's a friend of mine who does the voice of on King of the Hill. He does a voice of the guy that's like the real conspiracy theory guy. Ow!
Oh man, dang old black helicopter flying.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
Dale.
Yeah, he does the voice of Dale, right?
Johnny Hardwick.
Yeah, when we knew him, he used to be called Johnny.
Johnny Hardwick.
Hardwick, and that's why when we knew him, he was John Wally. In Dallas, he was John Wally.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to be Hardwick because they say Hard Dick, right?
Oh, I bet they did.
Yeah, but I can tell you this much: Johnny Hardwick, you're talking about something. He would get up on stage and do stand up. People fucking loved him. I mean, he just walk up on stage, and there was something about him that everybody go, "Oh man!" And I mean, and you could feel it. You could feel people like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be good," and you just feel like "Oh, this would be." And you feel people just relaxing, just knowing that this guy was going to be good. Because Hardwick is fucking hilarious, hilarious, and but it's that one of those things where it's like just getting up there and like say McDonald walks up and you're like, okay, this guy's gonna be fucking good.
Well, I mean, he's got an advantage already. He just looks funny.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not like. I mean, you take somebody like the opposite of that, Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
Good example of a guy, that comes up just. But he looks funny too.
He does look
funny. What am I talking
yeah.
about? I bought some. What did he say? I bought some powdered water. I don't know what to add to it.
You know what his gig is? That the guy that was the talent on the Tonight Show was up in wherever Steven's from, Boston area, up in New England, right?
Yeah.
And he saw him at a club. He goes, "Oh my God." He goes, "Let's put you on the Tonight Show." And Steven hadn't been doing comedy all that long, so he only had like 8 minutes, right? So they put him on there, and so he does 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes, and they go, and so they come back about a month and a half later. Go, "That was awesome. Come back again next month." And he was like, "Are you fucking serious? I only have 8 minutes." And he had to work to come up with more material because they hit him up right off the bat. It wasn't like one of these people like Seinfeld and Gary Shandling and all these guys when they got onto the Tonight Show, they had been doing comedy forever. And so they had a bunch of material built up so they could do this, and they brought back, they could do this other chunk. But he was like, "Oh my God." So he was panicking out because he had to come up with new material, and he was like, "I've just barely been doing this shit."
I don't feel sorry for him.
Oh no, the guy is fucking amazing.
These goddamn first world blues.
Dave, whatever your second career is, please don't be a therapist.
Shit. Are you kidding?
Your therapy session would be epic. This would else. Oh, just piss and moan some more. Piss and moan. Yeah.
I think people need to hear more of that.
Yeah. My mommy doesn't love me.
My baloney has a first name, Oscar.
But baloney has a second name. Fuck off.
Fuck you up the ass. I mean, people.
I want to see you come back next week and not be a whiny bitch. That's what I want to see. All right, come on. Is that? We need to do an episode of Therapist Dave.
Let's do it.
An episode of Therapist Dave.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, you know what?
Your therapist Dave.
Oh, let's talk about this guy.
Okay.
I think we need to. Let's talk about Andy Kaufman.
You have to.
I mean, game changer.
Total game changer, and he's on my list of game changers.
I happen to be living in Tennessee.
Oh shit! So oh okay.
I saw it live.
Oh,
I saw the whole wrestling thing happening live.
Oh my God!
And and I'm glad I was worldly enough even to sort of get what he was.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was a joke.
Yeah.
But it was really hilarious because, man, he was
one of the greatest heels ever in wrestling.
And he would come out and he would say, come out there and go like say something, on the live wrestling shows that were like every Saturday morning, and he would, he was wrestle a woman,
Oh, yeah.
and like being interviewed by the Lance Russell, the guy from, Lance Russell was the guy, and he's like, Andy Kaufman, out of towner coming in, wants to be the intergender wrestling champion, and what have you got to say for yourself? Well, first off, I want to offer a little something to the people of Memphis and surrounding area. Here's a little something, and this is probably something you've never seen before. And he opens up a box, and it's like toothpaste and a soap. This is called toothpaste, and that's soap. You probably ain't never seen that. And I mean, the people in the studio were just like, oh God, they wanted to kill him.
Oh, man.
I mean, he was hated. He was completely hated. And I love the fact that, and I mean, that him and Lawler were totally, and Lawler was in, so they were just completely like simpatico on this,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but I saw it happening in real time, and it was really funny to see because he
Man.
totally captivated the whole. I don't know why he picked Memphis. I guess just maybe Lawler was the guy that would just do it.
I don't know how he and Zamuda must have found him somehow.
I think Lawler was it turns out Jerry Lawler is like a really smart guy.
I'm sure
he's
he
like,
is.
he's a musician. He's into art and
Yeah.
stuff. So he was the guy that said like, this is a good opportunity for
Yeah,
me.
no, he wasn't an idiot. He knew it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's funny. I knew of Kaufman from these young comedian specials and would watch him and on Saturday Night Live. Now, when he got into the wrestling thing, to be honest with you, since I was living in Oklahoma at that time, we weren't getting any of what you were, the actual, because all that stuff was like very regional at that point.
Right.
All very regional. And so I would hear about it, and now many, many, many years later, I see the footage later, but at the time I can't imagine seeing it at that moment.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Oh man.
And I mean, his whole thing was just he pushed like just being weird to the absolute limit. I mean, I think he's referred to as like a Dadaist. Just his whole thing was to always be playing on expectations and fucking with people's notions of what, not just him, but stand-up comedy and what's funny.
Everything he did, he took it to like where you think you could go with it, and then he would bring it up to here, and then it'd bring it up to here. And it was like, it's not even comedy. It's like performance art.
Right.
I mean, it's like his whole life was like performance art.
Yeah, I think it was.
I mean, when he did that whole, and we talked about this before about, being, what was that? That bad comedian that he would play.
Vic Ferrari?
Nah, it wasn't Vic.
The guy.
Yeah, I can't think of his name here. It's just kind of leaving my head here right now. But
yeah, because you're 60.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
God, now that's bugging the fuck out of me. I can see that guy's.
What is his name? God damn it.
Yeah, look it up.
I got to look it up here.
I mean, we got a thing against not looking. We don't look shit up much on the show.
We don't really look up shit on the show.
But I can't. Oh, wait.
Tony Clifton.
Tony Clifton.
Okay. I did it without looking it up. Thank God. God.
Oh, you did.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't look it up.
Nice.
I just put A&D in. That's all I did. So Clifton. I mean, because he had a deal in where, and we talked about this where they were gonna have to do a show with Tony Clifton on Taxi. I mean, and he didn't care. He didn't care about any. When he got onto Taxi, he was fucking pissed that he was having to do that. Even though he was getting a shit ton of money, he didn't give a fuck. That was pissing him off.
Yeah, I could see that he wouldn't want to be. But it must have been like really, well, I mean, he must have been a really unique person to be comfortable enough to always sort of be at odds with like almost everybody around him. I mean,
Yeah,
the whole thing he does where the guys in the crowd Bob Smuta's
Oh, yeah.
finishing his
Yeah, ruined his whole set.
ruined his set, and he's crying, and he's just so comfortable at being uncomfortable.
Because anybody else would be like that. That was back whenever, as a comedian, you didn't have a lot of opportunities on television. It was a big
Yeah.
deal to be on television.
All right.
And he didn't give a shit. He was just like, I'll blow this. I don't care. Yeah, it's pretty amazing to be that kind of person. On the one hand, I'm very impressed by that. On the other hand, I don't think I'd want to do that. Because
Well, I don't think he wanted to do it.
he couldn't help it. It was just what it was.
I mean, that doesn't things like that don't seem calculated.
No.
Nobody would. I mean, like almost the only artist that I ever heard
I'm
of.
coming.
Oh man, that's Starflight.
Yeah.
That's Elon.
Yeah, it is Elon. So the only artist you thought of what?
The only artist I can ever. Chuck Berry's the only guy that I ever heard saying like, "Man, this songwriting music gig looked like a way to make money." But other than that, I can't think of a single artist, performing who thought like that was the real route.
Nah, I think there might be one or two that made it for a little bit, but most artists, at the end of the day, you can't stop it. It's kind of like one of these deals. Like, yeah, you can't. It's like a faucet that
Well, I
the
heard
handle's
Bernie Mac
broken.
used to go on the subway and like do his stand up.
Did you ever see his
The king of comedy?
No. Did you ever see the I hate you motherfucker. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Now it's funny because if you watch it, and Bernie Mac is on the list. I fucking love Bernie Mac. If you watch it, it's not really that great. But what he came out and did was amazing because it was like in a crowd. Talking about live performance, right? It's a crowd that's hostile, and he just comes out, I ain't afraid of you motherfuckers, and this does that. Bernie Mac was he was a unique individual. I mean, he had his own comedy style, and it was amazing.
And he looked funny. He had a funny.
No, don't you?
Well, he was scary looking in a way.
Oh yeah,
he like.
And the way he would talk, he was talking kind of a slang where I had to really tune my ears into how he talked sometimes.
Yeah, he had and he was talking about.
Yeah, the motherfucker.
Yeah, no, he had a strange patois sort of thing, but I mean that movie though, what is it, Three Kings or
Kings of Comedy?
Kings of Comedy?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, even Cedric's pretty good.
Cedric is good. I tell you, like the best one of that whole crew, probably Dale Hughley. Dale Hughley is fucking amazing.
I mean, did you ever see Barbershop?
Oh yeah.
With Cedric.
Whoops.
Fuck it, let it go.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
No, that's gold.
That?
There's gold in them there.
There's gold in them there sheets of paper.
Pages. No. No, I mean, Cedric the Entertainer's funny shit. Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey had a club in Dallas. He had a club in Dallas. I'm telling you,
he was kind of funny in that.
I'm going to tell you.
Oh God, it's a
Steve Harvey
story.
working a crowd is one of the best comics you'll ever see working a crowd. The reason I say this, he had a club in Dallas.
I mean, you can say that about a mortician.
Well, no, I can't say that about a mortician because
I know one.
Well, we can work a crowd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Work a bunch of stiffs. Okay, there we go. Enough said. So Steve Harvey was so good with crowds that if you went to that club that he had in Dallas and they would come up because he was starting to get popular, they go, hey, there'd be a big line, and then they go, Steve's not going to be here tonight. The whole fucking line would leave. They just leave. They're like, fuck it, I ain't going to this show. I'm telling you, man, Steve Harvey is like a Jay Leno that he gets onto these television shows and all this stuff, and he looks like shit. But Steve Harvey working a crowd is fucking awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Working a black crowd, he can fucking nail this shit, man.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
God damn it, David.
Christ. Yeah, I love Steve Harvey now.
So Dave, at your therapist Dave, I'm just kind of bummed out about life, man. I don't know what I should be doing. Because every time I cut up in the morning, I just goes, "It worth getting up?" I don't know. What do you think, my therapist, Dave?
Well, I think the first thing you should do is like write me a check for $150 and put it in my fucking hand, and then I'll tell you what you should do. And that is I'm gonna rip your fucking head off and shit down your throat, you piece of shit, if you don't get out of bed and go to work.
So, how do you spell your last name on the check?
The last name is FUCKYOUMC.
We gotta do a Therapist Dave episode.
F. Lee Ermey is Therapist Dave. God damn it, you son of a bitch.
Oh, man. Okay, there's another one I want to talk about and I think you'll...
How long do we have
You're
left?
probably-
We got to stop at 1 hour.